Hi, everyone. Okay, so if you missed last week, let me quickly introduce myself. I am Mariah Altoff. Thank you so much for being here. I have been a freelance graphic designer for a decade now, but over the last 4 or 5 years, I accidentally grew a following online and accidentally became a paid content creator. So now I actually coach and mentor other creatives on growing their online visibility, how to get clients, building their freelance business, specifically on the internet. And that is why I am the perfect person to use content strategy and Adobe Express and bring them together and show you how we can really make your content stretch way further than you probably even realize. I know that most of us didn't sign up to become content creators, but in 2025, that is what we're doing. So, my goal for this 7-week series is really helping you take small amount of content and really stretch it as far as it can go. So we're taking one type of piece of content and building multiple posts from that one piece of content so that you're not burning yourself out creating content and your content is actually effective and works and is useful because otherwise, what are we doing here, right? So with that being said, last week we talked all about turning one YouTube video into 4 different Instagram posts. And this week we are talking about taking B-roll and stretching that as far as we can. So we're going to be creating 3 different posts with just some really easy B-roll clips that I captured. I'll show you more about that later. And doing so in a way that we create a voiceover reel, a text on screen B-roll reel, and even a carousel post, all just using B-roll that I captured on my phone on a random day. So, if you missed last week, go back and watch it. And as always, let me know in the comments. Wow, that was a really hard word. In the comments, if you have any questions or if there's anything you want me to cover. Like I have a plan for the next month of these shows, but if there's something that you guys are really dying to learn, whether that's strategy or design or tools, please drop it in the comments. I would love to know so that I can make sure that the live streams I'm doing over the next 5 weeks are super relevant to what you actually want to learn. So with that being said, let's dive right in. So as I mentioned, we're using Adobe Express. We love Adobe Express. Otherwise, I'm an Illustrator girly through and through, but Express has become a place that I come back to all the time. Okay, because it makes it so easy to create content. I love that all of the premium features are included in our Creative Cloud account. And I love that I can just use it on my phone. I'm using it on my phone all the time. So it's fun being here and using the desktop version, but having that app on your phone is like a total game changer. So before we actually dive in to creating content, let's talk about what B-roll content even is, okay? So B-roll content is any type of content where you're not actively engaging with the camera. So that could be video of you working. It could be video of the coffee you're drinking. It could be video of you typing on your computer. It could be video of your dog. Could be video of you walking into the kitchen to grab something. It could be video of you unboxing. Anything where you're not actively talking to the camera like I am right now, that could be considered B-roll. Now, it is so helpful if you just get into this mindset of recording B-roll regularly. So if you're having a day where you're like, I'm doing some interesting things today, I want you to just film some B-roll, whether that's walking with your kids to the park or going to the grocery store or doing a craft or like starting a new hobby. If you're just knitting on your couch like whatever old lady craft you've adopted this month, film that. Adding pieces of your personality and like your behind the scenes, your day to day, what you're actually working on, how you actually spend your time. It gives the viewers a glimpse into your personality. It gives them an idea of what you are like, and it really adds that piece of human connection that we are all craving, especially on the internet, and especially as we really step into this age of AI. The more B-roll content you can create yourself and then intertwine throughout your content is going to be so great. It makes you feel like a real human. It makes you feel more relatable. There is tons of ways we can get B-roll in Adobe Express, and I'm going to show you how to do that in case you need specific types of B-roll clips or video clips or whatever. But the more you can capture yourself on your phone, the more effective your content's going to be, because we're in a phase of really craving authenticity online, and often stock footage just feels less so obvious, like for obvious reasons, right? So all that to say, everything I'm going to be using today is B-roll that I took on my camera over the last few months. I have so much B-roll on my camera. It's crazy. So that's what we're going to be using. All right. So first and foremost, I want to create a voiceover reel. And I love doing that over top of reels that essentially vlog my day. So here's what we're going to do first is we're going to choose Instagram Reel. All right. We're going to start dragging and dropping media to get started. I already gathered this. I probably shouldn't add all of them at once. Let's do 2. Now, the key to having interesting voiceover content, voiceover vlog type content especially, is I want your B-roll clips to be a few seconds long each. We need the scenes to keep on moving. So while you can absolutely take a 2-minute long B-roll video, the internet's going to see a few seconds of it, which seems crazy. But I promise you it's going to be the most effective that way. So, all right, whoa, let's make it so that my video is bigger. All right, so we're going to start. What do we want to start? All right, so you can see right here, we have 1:49 minutes worth of content, which is great. My voiceover is going to be like, I actually don't know how long the voiceover is going to be. I wrote a script. We're going to record it here in a second. But it's not going to be 1:50 long. I can tell you that right now. So here's what we're going to do before we even start clipping down our content is we're going to add audio. And something really nice about Adobe Express is you can actually record your voiceovers right in the app, which is amazing. Okay, so we're just going to click that button. Always allow. All right, I'm going to use this fancy microphone. Cool. Let me back up a little. Okay, and I love having this enhance speech toggle on because it is going to make me sound even better than I already do. All right, so I'm going to pull up my script and I'm just going to start recording right in the file. Okay. I wish it hadn't taken me years to realize this, but when I first started freelancing, I thought I had to list out every skill I had to attract clients, whether it was I design logos, websites, social media graphics, yada, yada, yada. But the more that I focused on what I did, the harder it was for people to understand why it actually mattered and how it was going to impact them. I was working twice as hard to land clients who paid me half as much. So everything changed when I made one tiny little shift. I stopped selling deliverables and I started selling outcomes because clients don't care about your tools or your skill set. They care about whether you can solve their problems and deliver real, tangible results. So if you're feeling stuck or underpaid right now, I want you to go back to the basics. Nail your positioning. I put some prompts in the caption so that you can get started on this. Okay. So it is doing its thing. It's enhancing my voice and it's showing up right here. And you can see it is about half as long as the clips that we have, which is so ideal, super perfect. It's honestly the worst when you're like, dang it, my voiceover was so long and I only have half of the amount of clips to cover it. Okay. Before we do anything crazy, we are going to zoom in here and we're going to trim down our voiceover so that we cut out the dead air at the beginning and the end. Let's just make sure I didn't cut anything off here. You can get started on this. Great. Okay. So we have that. Now we're going to start trimming down our clips. Okay. This is a long one where I'm just putting on some makeup for the day. We're going to hit. So what I'm doing next is I'm going to split up these clips into smaller 1 to 2 second clips. You can see how long they are on the little playhead here as you scroll. So I'm going to do like 1.5 seconds. No, we'll do 1.7. And to split the clip, what you can actually do is put your playhead here and just hit S. And now it's split. Now we're going to split it again. I'm going to delete that one. And I'm just finding the parts that are a little more action-packed and feel a little more visually interesting and add a little bit of like jump cuts to the video file, because the more our brain has to kind of piece together what happened in between each of these clips, the more engaging it is and the more likely people are going to want to stick around and keep watching. I believe there's like a real name for that phenomenon. I don't know what it is. Wait, did I thought I had to list out everything. Okay, we're going to delete. You can also just do this if you want. Okay. And then the space bar is a shortcut for hitting play. So anytime you're like, okay, let's see what this looks like, you can just hit space and it's gonna start playing. All right. Split it here, delete that. Now the real art is making sure you don't delete too much of your content so that you have to go back at the end and really piece together more clips, because sometimes you accidentally delete more than you intend to. Okay. All right, so now we're at 14 seconds. That's actually pretty good. Let's watch this and see if I'm bored. That's a huge like indicator as to whether or not your content is going to keep viewers' engagement. If you watch it and if there's ever a point where you're like, oh, I'm kind of bored and would swipe away if it was content that like if it was somebody you didn't know. So watch it as if you're not watching yourself, which I know is easier said than done. But if you do that, you will be able to add some sort of like visual or audio interest in that section to hopefully keep people engaged longer. So that's just like a hot little tip. I wish it hadn't taken me years to realize this, but when I first started freelancing. Okay, I'm a little bored there, so we're going to cut this one down. I thought I had to list out every skill I had. Also, I am going to trim out. You could hear my breathing there. Oops. Okay. How did that sound? Okay. So that's something else you can do is you can edit your voiceover in the same way. It helps looking at these audio waves. If there's ever a place where you're like, that's a really big gap. Let's see. Every skill I had to attract clients, whether it was I design logos, websites, social media graphics, yada, yada, yada. There. Okay. So that's a long pause and I breathed during it. I don't want to hear you breathing. I'm glad you're breathing, but I don't want to hear it on your voiceover content. So let's cut those out. But the more that I even want to cut that out, honestly. But the more that I focused on what I did, the harder it was for people to understand why it actually mattered and how it was going to impact them. Okay. We're going to keep doing this so that we actually know how long this is going to be. I was working twice as hard to land clients who paid me half as much. So we're going to get rid of that gap. So everything changed when I breathed there. Okay, split. When I made one tiny little shift. Breathed there. I also feel like I'm like taking bigger breaths right now because I'm stuffed up. I've been sick for quite literally like 6 weeks. I stopped selling deliverables and I started selling outcomes. Okay. They care about whether you can solve their problems and deliver real, tangible results. So, okay, breathed there. Result. So if you're feeling stuck. All right, so I accidentally sort of cut out the S at the end of this. So I'm just going to go back. Okay, let's move this a little. It's going to remember what you will result. So let's try a little further. Okay. I think results. So perfect. So you still hear that S. So even if you accidentally get rid of something, you can just re-stretch out that clip or audio clip or whatever, and it will remember what was before or after before you made that split or delete. So if you're feeling stuck or underpaid right now, I want you to go back to the basics. Let's get rid of that spacing. Nail your positioning. I breathed here. All right, so I did it again. I kind of cut off this word a little too early. Positioning. Okay. I put some prompts in the caption so that you can get started on this. Okay. Amazing. All right, so now if you see, It's only 51.7 seconds. Perfect. But we still have a minute 30 of footage to use. We love that. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. So we've edited these clips. Let's zoom out so we can see more of what we have here. Okay, so you can see here too, like 1.7, 1.4, 1.9, 2, 1.7, 2.6. And honestly, we might get rid of some of these because they are a little redundant, but I don't want to get rid of too much stuff too soon. Okay. All right. The other thing, so this clip was already silent, so I didn't need to do this, but I am going to click on this one and I'm going to hit the mute button because I don't want any of these video clips audios to be playing. I just want my voiceover to be playing. Focused on what I did, the harder it was for... Okay. Let's split here. Tofu's making an appearance. We love Tofu. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, you should. I have a whole naming ceremony from when we adopted him. He got to pick his own name. I did a poll on Instagram to try to decide what to name him. We adopted him from the shelter, and people were very invested, but I ended up not being able to choose. So he had a naming ceremony where he got to pick his own name, and he picked Tofu. So go watch that reel. It's very cute, very sweet. Okay. All right. So next clip is me on the computer. I'm really outing myself here. This is what my desktop sometimes looks like. It's just filled with files and screenshots. And I know you guys are creative, so I know so many of you get it. But those of you who don't get it, I am so envious of your organization. I don't know how you do it. Okay, so we're gonna mute this clip too. Here we go. Mute. Okay. I was like, where is the mute button? This is hard to land clients who paid me half as much. All right, we're going to just trim off the very beginning of this clip. Maybe split it here. This is me just taking it all and putting it in a file, in a folder. Gosh. All right, let's see, what's this? Oh, me walking Tofu. All right, so this clip is kind of the same. So I think I might delete this one. I might regret that shortly. No, I don't think I will. Okay. Let's just split this up a little bit. Okay. Delete that. All right. Cool. Oh, I fear this is like the same thing. So here's what I'm actually going to do. Because I have two different clips of me on a walk, I am going to move this one. So let me zoom out so you can see this a little bit better. The more you can put your face in your B-roll content, especially like when you're putting all these clips together, the more your face can appear every so often, the better it's going to be. Because people are really, oopsies. They're there for you. And I know it doesn't feel like they are, but I promise you they are. All right. So I'm going to just set the scene for a walk by putting this clip at the beginning of my walk content. And which part of that? Split here, delete that part. Okay. When I made one tiny little shift. Oh, we got to We got to mute it. Mute. Did I mute this? Yes. But I did not mute these. So now because I didn't mute the full long clip, I have to go into all the little clips and mute every single individual one. So the more you can just remember to mute the big long clip, the easier your life is going to be. Okay, let's split here. And then just kind of go like this. They care about whether you can solve their problems and deliver real. Okay. Let's mute this one. Let's also just tweak it so and deliver real tangible. All right, so we got to trim off this because the beginning part does have my kid's face in it, and oh, so does the end. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of crop this out because I don't put their faces online. Problems and deliver real. Okay. Problems and deliver real. Okay. Tangible result. Mute. All right, so this one, this is what I mean. So see, we went down from 1.5 minutes to we're at the end of our content here. So we might need to add in a few more clips. Let's see what this one even is. So if you're feeling stuck or underpaid right now, I want you to go back to the basics. Nail your position. Okay. So let's just add a few blank scenes so I can see how much longer our their problems and deliver real tangible results. So if you're feeling stuck or underpaid right now, I want you to go back to the basics. Nail your positioning. I put some prompts in the caption so that you can get started on this. Okay. All right, so now what we essentially need, I want to cut this up into like half as long. So we essentially need like one more video clip. So let's trim this to be what I want it to be, and then we can go from there. Alrighty, so we just need, what is this? This is 43 seconds. This is 51. So what's that math? 8 seconds more of content, which I can totally do because guess what? I have so much B-roll content on my phone, okay? So I'm gonna go grab one. All right, so I'm going to let's zoom out. And let's add media, upload from device, going to, all right, I added, okay, I did add another one of tofu. So something, oh. Okay. Add a scene. Okay, did find a few more of me working, so that's why it's so helpful to have just a ton of B-roll content, guys, so that you don't have to, reinvent the wheel, like, ever. Um, alright, let's move some things around before I get too wild. Maybe put this here. So that was after our walk. Let's trim this one down. Oh, we definitely need to make sure we mute these again. Okay, let's go back to the tofu one, make sure we muted that. Mute. Okay. Here we go. Let's split it here. Delete that beginning part. And I like that this shows like what I'm actually working on, and this is me like editing a sponsored post. Okay, we'll delete the rest of that. All right, so now we finally have enough clips. I did pull a few more though, so I'm going to add this one. We're gonna do that here because it's starting my workday. We're gonna mute it. We're gonna split it here, delete that. Except I think what I might do is move that one to go before this. All right. All right, now we're gonna watch this and see which sections feel long. I can almost guarantee you it's gonna be the getting ready part. We're gonna get rid of a few of those clips. In fact, we're gonna get rid of this first one. It's not like my most flattering clip, that's for sure.
I wish it hadn't taken me years to realize this, but...
All right, we're gonna shorten that. How many extra seconds do we have? Okay, a few.
This, but when I first started freelancing, I thought I had to list out every skill I had to attract clients.
We don't need both of those.
Attract clients, whether it was I design logos, websites, social media graphics.
I still think I'm gonna get rid of that one.
I wish it hadn't taken me years to realize this, but when I first started freelancing, I thought I had to list out every skill I had to attract clients, whether it was
Trim this a little further. All right, how much time? Okay, we're still good. We're still good. Because I'm getting rid of one more.
I wish it hadn't taken me years to realize this, but when I first started freelancing, I thought I had to list out every skill I had to attract clients, whether it was I design logos, websites, social media graphics, yada, yada, yada. But the more that I focused on what I did, the harder it was for people to understand.
This feels a little slow to open, a little planned, if you will.
On what I did, the harder it was for people to understand why it actually mattered and how it was going to impact them.
All right, let's clip out sort of the middle of this. It gets a little long. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Oh, okay, we're done clipping things. So let's keep watching. Make sure it looks okay.
The harder it was for people to understand why it actually mattered and how it was going to impact them. I was working twice as hard to land clients who paid me half as much. So everything changed when I made one tiny little shift. I stopped selling deliverables and I started selling outcomes, because clients don't care about your tools or your skill set. They care about whether you can solve their problems and deliver real, tangible results. So if you're feeling stuck or underpaid right now, I want you to go back to the basics. Nail your positioning. I put some prompts in the caption so that
Oh, shoot. We still did it too short. Okay. Also, there's a breath that I take here. All right, let's get rid of that breath. Is that where I took the breath? Let's find out.
Your positioning. I put
Still sort of breathe there. Oh my gosh. I apparently keep trying to overlap these. Stop! Oh my gosh. Here. There. Okay.
I put some prompts in the caption so that you can get started on this.
All right. Trim. Delete. And we need essentially, I want to zoom out here, like 1 whole second left. So let's do this. Gonna elongate this one again. That might do it. Oh, did it? Doing something weird. Okay. No, apparently. Oh, okay. It was doing something weird. All right, we're good. We are good. All right, so we have clips for everything now. And it kind of, what I really like to do with B-roll is to still let it tell a story, which is exactly what we did here. Like, it is essentially just like vlogging little clips of my day, but my voiceover is sharing some really valuable information, but I'm doing so in the form of a story. That is key. Now what we want to do is add captions to this. Here's how we're going to do that. All right, so we are going to actually download this, and that is great. Actually, we should rename it first. Let's see, storytelling reel. Now let's download it. Do, 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 do. Almost complete. So what's key here is that you do need to take this out. Okay, yeah, so look, it even prompts us to just do it. Now we're going to click caption video. So this is a separate feature in Express. It's not in the normal editor. So now we're uploading this video to the caption video like quick action inside of Adobe Express. And it is taking this, it is using its AI superpowers to transcribe the video. And then we're going to use one of the presets to add caption overlays, essentially. That's going to add some visual interest to your Instagram reel. And it's also going to make it so that people can watch it when they're like scrolling, but aren't using sound. That's cute. That's key because a lot of us don't use sound when we're scrolling. We're like, at work or on the train or whatever. I do neither of those things, but people do. Okay, let's see. We can change around.
I wish it hadn't taken me years to realize this, but when I first started freelancing, I thought I had to list out every skill I had to attract clients,
Okay. I like that one. Let's make sure that that's what I want to do. Can try a few different options. I think I like rapid the best. Yeah.
Add to attract clients, whether it was I design logos, websites, social media graphics, yada, yada, yada. But the more that I focused on what I did, the harder it was for people to understand why it actually mattered and how.
Okay, That's what I like. You can customize the colors here if you want. So if I wanted the text to be something else, like yellow or something, I could do that. You can also add in your own text values. So could grab my yellow. I probably got pretty close, honestly. So if I wanted it to be
impact them, I was
yellow,
working twice
I could
as
do
hard to
that.
land clients
Or even my like pink brand color.
who paid me half as much. So everything changed when I made
Let's see.
one tiny little shift. I stopped selling deliverables.
Let's go back here. Tiny little shift, not share. So it is important to go through and edit your captions because sometimes AI doesn't always get it right. Okay, so that's how you would change your text colors. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to go back to just white. That's pretty much what my feed looks like. It's primarily white overlays with pops of like that pink or yellow. So I tried the pink, I tried the yellow, it didn't work. So, all right, it's perfect. I'm going to download it now. And we've made our first reel. Now, I want to create things that are really useful in Adobe Express, on Instagram, are just text overlays on B-roll clips. It's a really good way to repurpose the same message, but in a different format. You just never know which one's going to hit, right? So we are going to start with Instagram Reel. I am going to grab this, put it here. This is just me working. This is a minute and a half of me working. I need it to be like, I don't know. We'll do 11 seconds. So now what you can do too is like, this is the whole clip. I can change around like when the video starts, right? So we're going to do here. Okay, and honestly, it's not even going to be 11 seconds. It's going to be 7 seconds. Now, we do want to mute the video. I don't need that because while you can add sound in Adobe Express, I usually add it natively in the app because then you can use trending audios and things like that. Also, I should have pointed this out in the first place. You guys are probably like, what is this blue square? So glad you asked. This is actually a guide so we know where on the screen you can put stuff. So anything below this, anything above this, and anything on the sides has the potential to be cut off depending on what view this is being viewed at. So that's a really helpful thing that Adobe Express has that honestly no other editor that I use has that. So that's a hot tip. Okay, but now we are going to sometimes darkening it helps. We'll see if I need that. I probably do need maybe like a little bit. Okay. Now we need to add text. We are going to put text here. It's going to be in the middle of the screen. Let's center it. And now let's apply our brand fonts. Oopsies. Is that what we want? I don't think so. First, let's turn it white so we can actually see it. That would be great. Okay. I think I want this text to be different than these two. What would it look like if I did this? Let's do default. Low paying clients love vague offers. Oops. High paying client ones need clarity. All right, we're gonna line spacing. No, I want paragraph spacing. What's the difference, you ask? So line spacing is going to adjust all of the different lines. Paragraph spacing, however, is going to just change how far apart the lines of text are when you do like a hard return. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to start with that. And then we're going to have this text come on the screen. Here. Let's do this. Let's tweak the spacing. Oh, that's not where I want. Let's make the letters a little closer together. Let's make the lines a little closer together. And let's make this just a little bit bigger. And then I think what I'm gonna do is make it so that you can still see my face even when the text is on the screen. All right, so now we're going to edit the timeline and we're going to select different things on our page. And because I want this to show up later, like a couple seconds later, we can do that here. Okay, so now let's see what this looks like. Perfect. You know what? I think I might. Well, I don't know for sure, but let's see. Do I like this? No, I don't. Okay. We're going to do this. I just want to add a little bit more design pizzazz, if you will. Not the cheapest. Okay, yes. Let's do my brand color. Do pink. Goes well with this. I'm going to add a fun little animation. So once it does come in here, it's going to just like kind of wiggle. So it's like not the cheapest. Pay attention to me. Okay. And then finally to add one last like brand element. Oops, that's my old branding. This is my new one. We are going to add in one of my little icons at the top of this. Okay, and then this animation is just gonna kind of breathe like that. Okay. All right, let's watch all of this and see. Let's see what we think. Kind of I want that to be smaller. All right, I want to edit it so that not the cheapest shows up just like a hair later. So this will have trending audio over it. Okay, cool. Love, great, done. We're gonna say text overlay. Download. Okay. All right, let's make our final post, which is going to be a carousel post now. All right, so now we're going to make a carousel post, and I have used this template before and I think it's so cute. But the first thing we're going to do is just delete everything, and we're going to add a video. Because videos are more engaging when they're the first slide of your carousel post. All right. So that's all we want is this piece. And again, we're going to want to mute it. Now I am going to darken it again because I want to put text over it. Now I'm going to go grab the font from over here. I'm going to put AI will replace your business. If you're still selling your skills. All right. Let's change the font. Okay. I want this to be the like big attention grabbing thing because people are scared of this. And this post is meant to grab attention, but then teach people like, here's how you can be safe from AI taking your job. Because it doesn't have to. All right. So now here's what the front cover is going to look like. Like that is engaging because the video background is moving, but we're going to have to tweak the timeline so that that doesn't happen. But then it, the text also is really attention grabbing. So we are running out of time. So here's what the final is going to look like. I already made it ahead of the show. So drop in the comments. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, go grab the freebie download where I am every single week outlining a new repurposing workflow for you to follow all of the strategies that I've added for each workflow. It's all going to be in there. So go download that. You can find the link right here on the side of the screen, right here on the top of the screen. And make sure you come back next week for another content workflow.